what can we do in this country to get more jobs created? The only thing I can see is the only thing I see is that Bernanke is slowly eroding the dollar, but that's also going to have an inflationary impact. And as he erodes it, he's going to appreciate the yuan, and maybe we won't be getting so many things from China. And I have begun to read some things that maybe some things are coming back in because of other problems with supply. But that's important. What can we do?
Well, there's a couple different things we can do. You know, the unemployment rate is still hovering around 9%. I think most of us feel that's unacceptable. That doesn't include what is not calculated, which is the underemployment number. Anyone who had a job at, say, $1,000 a week and now is employed at a number less than that. Or those who are no longer searching for a job because they've been out of work so long that they've decided to either retire or just change their lifestyle. So I think that 9% number is actually a bit higher. When you also look at the growth rates for the country, we're hovering around 2 to 3%. It should be in a strong economy 4 or 5, even 6%. We're not there, and we're not any closer to getting there. So I think legislatively, policy-wise, there's a few things we can do. I think job creators need predictability from Washington. And what that means is they want to know what their tax policy is going to be, they want to know what the regulatory policy is going to be, and they want to know, they want to know those two things because as they're trying to determine whether they want to borrow money or utilize existing capital that they might be holding back, they're not sure how they're going to, of those dollars, how much they're going to have to give Washington. So, and the third would be healthcare policy. They don't have that predictability yet with healthcare policy. So, just on those three items, if we can give certainty to job creators, and in New Hampshire, when we talk about a job creator, we're talking about a small business owner. 75% of our economy in New Hampshire is driven by the small business owner. We're talking about 500 or less employees. That is extremely significant. Back home, there's a couple things. I sent out, about a month ago now, a survey to 1,000 random businesses in the 1st Congressional District. And I asked a whole host of questions. But the notion of the survey was, what do you want us to do in Washington and what do you want us not to do? They asked for a reduction in their tax liability. They asked for relief on regulatory policy, and they asked for predictability. And 80%, I thought this was a pretty overwhelming number. I didn't think it would be this high, but 80% of those that responded said that the stimulus had no positive value or effect on their company or their business. 80%. Now, it's not a scientific poll, so I'm not suggesting it is. But I'm trying to reach out to the business owners in New Hampshire and ask them, what is it that we can do? So, in a response to that, I've decided that I'm going to hold 2 job fairs in the district in June. In the fall, I'm going to hold a manufacturers summit as well as an innovators conference. And the idea here is, let's connect any individual who's looking for a job with someone who may have a job, number one. Number two, let's emphasize the positive things that we're doing in New Hampshire from a job creation perspective, from a manufacturing perspective. And thirdly, as an innovator, if you have an idea and you want to bring it to market, I want to give you the best opportunity to make that happen. And to put investors in a room with intellectual property attorneys in a room and other potential investors or other businesses that might be interested, that's good for New Hampshire's economy and good for potential business growth. So there's 2 fronts, at least from a federal perspective. What I'm trying to do here in New Hampshire, and then legislatively, the policies that we're trying to enact down in Washington.